Okay, it's back to the painting of Renata. You know, I did some sketches. This was one of them that I kind of like. The question is, how closely does this drawing resemble this woman? That's always the question. And the answer is, I don't know. I like the drawing. One, I like the drawing, okay? There's a nice quality to it. But this painting, I mentioned it before in the first video, is commissioned, and it's going to be hung in the Italian Cultural Center in Buffalo, which has been renamed the Renata Jacobi Italian Cultural Center. So I don't know if I can get away with a typical Jack painting. That's the problem, you know. Here's some other photos of her when she was older. So I don't want to paint her smiling because for some reason it's difficult to paint a smiling person without it looking kind of odd or sappy. I don't know. But that's why I like this photograph when she was younger, because she's just looking, has a very natural look. And then here's another one. I like that jacket. I might use that jacket or that style. So I don't know. I'll just have to take a crack at it, you know, and see what happens, which is my normal method. I just start painting or drawing and pray to Jesus, you know, that never hurts. So anyway, let's get started. I have a canvas. This is a small canvas. I think it's an 18 by 18. This is not going to be the finished painting. The finished painting is going to be larger. It's going to be maybe 30 by 30. But I'm going to do some small portraits first in oil, just to get a feeling, like for the same reason I did the charcoal sketches, just to get a feeling of the face and what works, what doesn't work. And you never know. I might really get a good painting, a good portrait. Maybe I might do 2 of these, or maybe even 3. But that's how I'm going to start. Do some small studies in oil and see what happens. see in the photograph, she's got some hair coming down on both sides like that. But I don't know if I like that. I kind of just like to see the whole face. Well, I'll put some paint on, we'll see what I got. My usual flesh tones, to begin with, my underpainting for the face is usually, they're always the same thing. It's some yellow ochre, white, and black. See, in the drawing, face is a little narrower, but I think this actually works better. It's a little bit wider than it is in the drawing, but I'm gonna try this, see what happens. For the hair, which is always my problem, I don't know what color I'm gonna make the hair. I can't make it red, as I usually do, because she wasn't a redhead, and I can't get away with that one. But this is just some ultramarine blue and raw sienna, just to get some paint down. Probably, her hair is sort of a lightish brown color, which is a difficult color to register really in a painting. But I mean, I normally, the reason I use red a lot for the hair is because it just pops out, you know. I don't know what I'll do. I'll figure out something though, but it's not going to be red, obviously. Then I'll lay some background in. I'll try a little white and red. Cadmium red light and some white, just to get, just trying to cover the canvas at this point. I'll make the sweater or the jacket, whatever it turns out to be. I'm going to try some purple. That may change, probably will, but right now, a little white in there. Well, I just have to redraw it, and see, the expression is important. She has to look happy. In this type of painting, you know, which is going to be in public and it's going to hang in an institution, she has to look like she's happy. And right now, I don't know. The mouth is not right. The mouth is too big. The mouth is always a problem. And yeah, this mouth is definitely not working. So, try another mouth. Here's the line. The upper lip. The lower lip. All you need is a little shadow here for the lower lip. Yeah, that looks better already. I think the mouth was just a little too wide. Yeah, that's a nice expression. But it really doesn't look like her. But I'm not gonna, I don't know. That's out of my control. That's out of my control. What I can do, the next stage, is I can emphasize her cheeks. Her cheeks are kind of prominent. I mean, you know, when somebody's smiling, you can see it in the photograph. When somebody's smiling, their cheeks kind of get enlarged or something, you know. They become more prominent. I think also maybe the nose is too low. Maybe the nose needs to come up higher. I don't know. I'm going to leave it like that. But anyway, when I come back after this dries and I start putting in the flesh tones and the highlights, I can, you know, emphasize the cheeks. I think that'll help the expression a little bit. Maybe, yeah, maybe the nose needs to come up just a little bit. Yeah, when I put the highlights in, I'll put them right here, because that'll show her cheeks, you know, like she's enjoying herself, you know what I'm saying? Well, it always reminds me of Sargent, who was one of my favorite painters, and he had a lot of, painted a lot of women, and most of them were like kind of aristocratic types. They had some money, so that's how he made his living. And he had to be careful to present them in an attractive way. You know, if they were beautiful, he made them look beautiful. But more importantly, he made them look happy. That was his real gift. And I don't have it. I don't have that gift. I have to sort of wing it and kind of hope for the best, you know. So let's get back to this painting of Renata, and maybe I'll get lucky. I like the painting. I like the drawing, though. See, I like the drawing. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know, I could come out with a fantastic painting, looks nothing like her, and that's not going to work. You know, I mean, it has to sort of resemble her. Well, we'll see. But I like this. This expression is nice. Yeah, it's good. I'll keep that. Now I'll just draw the hair, a little outline of the hair, get some curls in there. And that's it. That's about as far as I can go today. I have to wait till it dries, so stay tuned. Okay, back to Renata. Today I had to put in some flesh tones, do something with the hair, and I'm still not exactly sure what color I want to make the hair. Lay in a good background color, and that's about it. I'm not going to finish today. I'll have to wait. Probably I need one more stage, you know. But but the first thing is to get some flesh tones in. So I always start with a little cadmium red. You know, a flesh tone can be any color. You know, the fact that, you know, if you're white, doesn't mean it has to be pink, you know. There's some great, I've done some good paintings where the skin tone was sort of green, but just came out that way and it worked, you know. The colors have to work with each other. That's the most important thing. Normally, you know, my flesh tones, I use cadmium red light. I have to rub it out a little bit because I don't want it to suck up too much of the other color, which is Naples yellow. And but sometimes I'll try something different. I'll make it, you know, I'll give it a sort of a grayish green, like the ground, even almost this color for the skin tone. You know, it depends how things work out. You know, you kind of let your instincts guide you. That's my general approach. You know. Sometimes, if I'm not happy with the color, the light red color of the flesh, that, you know, the combination of cadmium red and Naples yellow. sometimes I'll use alizarin crimson with some white to make it a little bit more pink, more pinkish. I did that, I forgot what painting I did that on. I just did that on a recent painting, but I don't remember which one it was. All right, so anyway, I have to rub out some of this because when I put the Naples yellow over it, I don't want it to suck up too much of the Naples yellow. So. Using a big brush. Sometimes I use this is a number 10, or is it a 12? I think it's a 10. Sometimes I use the number 8 filbert. This is a flat. Yeah, it's getting sucked up a little. This brush is too big for these areas. You should always use the biggest possible brush for the area that you're working on. Generally, that's a good rule. One of my painting teachers, when I first started painting, took some classes, he mentioned that. He says, use the biggest brush that you can. But it depends on the painter, you know. If you look at the paintings of De Chirico, for example, who's a wonderful painter, he's one of my favorites. He uses small brushes with a lot of little strokes that have a nice effect. I mean, his paintings are great. He was a real master. I visited his house in Rome. His house has been turned, he lived in an apartment building near the Spanish Steps. He had 3 floors of this building. He had a fantastic apartment. And after he died, it was turned over to the city, or maybe the state, and they turned it into a museum. And still has a lot of his furniture there, paintings, and so you can take a tour, and it was great. It was really a phenomenal apartment, and the tour was great. Well, I'm not happy with that. I'm going to try to filbert. There's just not enough paint. I need more paint. I want to see some brush strokes, you know. I want to see highlights. That's too much, but see, if you look at some of the photographs, her cheeks are kind of a feature, you know, like this one especially when she's smiling. She's older in this picture, but I want to emphasize that. I think that makes it look more like her, you know, if I do that. I'll have to wait till it dries, put in some shadows, and then the shadows will emphasize the highlights, you know. I think this may not have been dry enough. I don't know. It seemed pretty dry, but it might have been had just a little. Normally, an oil, a layer of oil paint will take a couple of days at least to dry. Sometimes 3, and sometimes even more than that. Depends how heavy it was put on. But you always expedite that by either adding some medium to it. Some drying agent, you know, which some painters will do because they don't want to have to wait 2 or 3 days. You can add some sort of drying agent, and then it'll be dry in a few hours actually. Or between when you're done, maybe the next day, it's still a little bit wet. You can take the palette knife and scrape off some of the paint, you know, and that'll expedite the drying. Well, that's about all I can do, really. I can do some work on the mouth. Well, I have to redraw this, but right now I'm going to do something with the hair. I'm thinking her hair is sort of brown. I don't know, it's sort of a medium brown. I'm not exactly sure what color I'm going to wind up using, but I thought I would try right now some Venetian red, just for like the underpainting of the hair. And then when this is dry, I'll go over this with some other color to make it a little bit less red, and maybe I'll add some raw umber. I'm thinking of some raw umber over this, thinned out, and that might give me what I'm looking for. I don't know. I mean, ordinarily, I like this color itself, the Venetian red. That's a nice color for hair, but she wasn't a redhead, so. And with this painting, which is going to be hung in a building named after her, I can't stray too far from reality, you know what I'm saying? And who knows, if I can't even come close to making it look like her, I may have to just abandon the whole project. You know, I mean, I have to tell them to put up a photograph. Be nice to have one of my paintings, but all right. So that's that. Now I just put in some background, then I have to redraw everything. I don't know, maybe some sort of earth green type color. I have some what is it? Verde Terra. I think it's called Verde Terra. It's an earth green. I don't use too often, but maybe I'll give that a shot. It's a nice color. It's a beautiful color. I'll try that with a little bit of white, see what we get. Then I'll wipe some of it off. Throw in some white, see what we get. Yeah, it's a nice color. And the sweater was purple. I think I'll stay with the purple. That might work out. I'll just make it a little, add a little more to it, but maybe darken it just a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. Well, now I have to redraw the face. Yeah, I don't know if you remember in the first stage of this painting, I mentioned that this is just a study. This is not going to be the final painting. The final painting is going to be bigger. It's going to be, this is like 18 by 18. The final painting is going to be like maybe 30 by 30, and it's going to look more like this photograph. I mean, the proportions, you know, I'll get her face and then like about half of her figure, you know, because I want to put a nice jacket on her that'll look good. And so, but this is, yeah, so this is just a study. And the idea is to get some ideas of what might work for the final portrait, you know. And like, I mean, the color of her hair, the shape of the face, you know, some ideas about the mouth, what I want the mouth to be like. The mouth is always key, as I've said many times. Yeah, it's a nice drawing. I like the drawing, but is her husband going to like the drawing? Frank. Well, that's about all I can do now. I have to wait till it dries. When I come back, I'll put some shadows in. I'll put a glaze over it, rub out for some highlights, add another kind of layer of flesh tones, and do something with the hair, because this color is not working, and it needs some body to it. It needs some shapes here and there, you know, for the hair. So, but right now, that's about all I can do. Maybe I'll put some eyes in. Actually, when I'm looking at her photograph here, the shape of her hair, I'm not really happy with what I got here. I think what I want is something like this. And then this comes comes out more here. Does that, I think. I'm not too happy with that either, but it's a little too lopsided. It's too lopsided. So this, and then this. Is that better? That's a little better. Well, I can. There's just a few. I just needs a few details here and there that I can do the next when I come back. But maybe this has to come in like this more. And then this comes out a little bit more like that. That's better, I think. Well, I'm not real happy with it. Maybe this needs to just do that. Yeah, that's better. That's not so bad. I can fool around with it next time, but right now I have to wait till it dries. So. Okay, stay tuned.
hold everything. Our band is blowing Dixie, double fall time. You feel alright when you hear the music.